gonna love who you turn out to be. Hang in there, baby.
Group hug.
Virtual group hug. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. So my name is Philiana Ng, and I'm from Entertainment Tonight, and I'm here with the cast of Good Luck Charlie for a special Zoom reunion and Q&A. Before we, obviously get into like the Q&A portion, I want to mention an organization that Disney has been working with, Feeding America, which helps raise awareness about the many resources available to Americans during these difficult times, and you can learn more about this at feedingamerica.org/feedthelove and on social media at Feeding America and the hashtag #FeedTheLove. Obviously, the show premiered 10 years ago in April.
And look how cute I am. It's your big sister Teddy here, and I'm making this video diary to help you survive our special family.
That's insane to me, on Disney Channel. And obviously introduced a teenage Teddy Duncan and her family as they adjusted to a new baby sister in the household. When parents Bob and Amy return to work, Teddy and her brothers, DJ and Gabe, are enlisted to help caring for baby Charlie, all while trying to navigate, their teenage lives. And we know how complicated that can be. Teddy may have been one of the original vloggers, I feel like, right?
Get all the credit.
And if you watch the show, her home videos always end up with a kind of words of wisdom and wishing good luck to Charlie.
When you're my age and you meet a cute boy, do not, under any circumstances, ever bring him home. Because if you do, well, good luck, Charlie.
And they'd all need a little bit more luck when a new kind of baby arrives, Toby, which I think the name was voted on by fans. It's also kind of cool.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Totally forgot that happened.
Totally forgot.
Totally forgot that.
Obi-Wan
Thanks
Kenobi.
for reminding us.
Yeah.
So Good Luck Charlie, all 4 seasons on the Christmas movie, currently streaming on Disney Plus. And yeah, I was rewatching actually a couple of the episodes, and it really holds up well. And especially 10 years later, kind of insane that it's been a decade. Well, is that a little bit surprising to kind of put into perspective for you guys, just the length of time that, has passed? You've all kind of grown up on the show.
It feels like it's been really quick. I can't believe it's been 10 years.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's been all that long, but honestly, I thought we could have put this show like on any network.
Well, it's interesting. We were actually doing our own just like family Skype a couple weeks ago, and we were like measuring the time based off of Lee's pregnancy, because she was having her first baby around the first time. And it's just so crazy to me that like her son that now we know, and he's like such a big kid now, like he was a little baby when
I tested for the show, I was 9 months pregnant. And so that baby is now 11. During the 3rd season of the show, I was pregnant with my 2nd child, who is now 7.
Wow.
Didn't I suddenly remember, didn't I catch Griffin's first steps on video?
First crawling.
His first crawling. Okay, yeah.
I feel like I was like the luckiest person in the world because I got 2 amazing families all at one time.
Ileana, you should try and watch and see if you can spot when the pregnancy bump pops up. Because we hit that for a while, didn't we?
A lot of big shirts and a lot of clothes hampers.
A lot of carrying baskets, doing laundry.
Making dinner behind the counter.
But I know we kind of already kind of jumped into the conversation, but before we kind of get into it even more, can you guys just introduce yourselves and the character you played in this series? And I guess, Bridget, we'll start with you.
Hi, my name is Bridget. I played Teddy Duncan, and I feel like, Teddy would be most comfortable with this format as the vlogger she is. So I'm just in my element here.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm Jason Dolly. I played PJ Duncan on the show, a character who I think kind of initially started out as the dumb older brother, and then as the show went on, became much more of the moral compass of the show. He was kind of the puppy dog. He was the oldest brother, but he had the the brightest outlook on the world, I think, or one of the brightest outlooks.
I guess we're going in kid order. So I'm Bradley. I played Gabe Duncan. He was at the time the youngest kid, and then Charlie came along and he didn't adjust well to that. But Gabe was a very sarcastic and mature jokester, I guess, which was a tough role for me to play, as most of my castmates know. So
I guess I'll go next. I'm Mia Tallarico, and I played Charlie Duncan on the show, and I probably had a really easy role because I just got told most of my lines or didn't have any. And I think it was really easy because, like, most of the time it was just what happened. We just rolled with it. Like, in the crawling scene, I just stood up, so we just went with it.
yeah, this is a trip right now. We have never done an interview like with Mia and had her like
Right. When
fully
she,
have a conversation like this. This is bizarre.
Yeah.
Mia, do you remember you were a prodigy in the first episode? Because
Yeah.
I remember like the first episode you were in, Lee, didn't you like feed her some bananas or something?
I was supposed to be feeding her sweet peas, and I
Yeah.
said,
Sweet peas.
"I've got sweet peas.
Sweet
And,
peas.
I mean, it was terrible. She wasn't going to eat that, but she loved bananas. And so I said, put bananas in front of her. They put bananas in front of her, and she was sitting in the high chair and eating. All of a sudden, she picks the whole plate up and dumps it all over her. And it changed the scene because this is what I loved about working with a baby is that you got a great improv partner because you never know what's going to happen. So you just got to be ready to roll with it.
Yeah, like my mom and I, we just went through our old like collage book of everything from when I was little, and I actually found an article of you, Lee, saying something about like when I picked it up, how it was like having a great improv.
Yeah, it was great. I think the line changed
Yeah.
to like, I think you've had enough bananas.
And is it kind of trippy to see Mia kind of all grown up right now, like a young adult?
It was trippy during the show. I mean, literally, she started off being swaddled, and by the time the series was over, we were doing full-on scenes with her.
You're not gonna have any?
No, ma'am. Maybe I'll have a bite of yours.
I mean, we were with Mia when she had to give up the binky, give up the bottle. You remember that? She loved that binky.
Oh,
I mean,
Mhm.
so, and when we would be on hiatus and we would all come back together, if we were at an interview or something, she would shoot through that door and run to all of us. It was just the sweetest little thing.
I just realized we didn't let the two of you introduce yourselves, Lee and Eric.
I'll go next because I think we should. The anchor of the family is Eric, so I'm next. So
When was that ever true over the course of
please, I'm the whirling dervish, and you're like the anchor that holds it all together. So my name is Lee Allen, and I played Amy Duncan. And secret, I'm turning more and more into her every day. So I'm just kind of the crazy mom that whose reputation precedes her.
Bam.
Ba-bam.
There we go. I'm Eric Kramer. I play Bob Duncan, exterminator, and quite possibly the most abused father on television.
For real though.
But in a fun way.
Like, I feel like just watching the episodes themselves, like, it really seems like you guys had a really, really good time on set, and you guys are a real family, right? 10 years after the kind of first episode premiere, I guess, Bridget and Jason, like, why do you think the stories and characters have resonated with all of you as a cast and maybe with viewers too?
You know, the creators always really wanted it to be an ensemble and have each character have something to say. And I also really just attribute that to our director and our various other writers and people behind the scenes who like allowed us to really form out these characters. And I'm just so grateful for that opportunity as a young actress to like be able to spend so much time developing a character. And also I think they were trying to like entertain a family audience. They weren't trying to just please kids. They were trying to reach everybody. So I loved watching The Office. I just have to bring this up because this is like a huge moment for me. But The Office was like my favorite show. And so when I found out that Steve Carell tweeted about our show and said he was watching it, that made my life. So that was just kind of like an indication like, oh, you know, there's a whole family that's watching this. So yeah, I am proud of that.
I think a big part of it too was just kind of how lucky we got with the cast and the crew, everybody that was on set making this thing. I think everybody came to set every day wanting to make the best thing we could make. And I think especially with the 5 and 6 of us, there was just this instant connection and chemistry that we had that you can't plan, you can't recreate. Sometimes you just get lucky and it happens. And we all just felt like a family pretty much right from the beginning. And so that translating to the screen, it becomes instantly relatable. And so even 10 years later, you're watching a family just like yours.
What were some of your kind of favorite memories kind of while working on set? Maybe I'll throw this to Eric and Bradley to answer.
Wow, there's way too many to choose from. You know, I think going back to what Jason said, you know, we were doing a family show about family stories. I mean, it was bonus that we all got along and clicked, but the stories we were telling were stories that the kids and the moms and the dads at home watching identified with and related to. It makes those stories more honest. It makes them even funnier. I've said this 1,000 times before. My favorite episode, I think, was the Treehouse episode that we did earlier on. And it was just a wonderful episode about growing up and the memories that family creates, and in a weird way, moving on.
Oh, hey! Don't mind me. Just making dinner for my family. You know, the ones on the ground.
Yeah, okay. We know what you're doing, and it's not gonna work.
I'm going inside the house to check on my chocolate souffle.
So yeah, I'm really proud of this group and these people that I was lucky enough to work with, and the stories we got to tell.
Yeah, I think for me, it was kind of a trip because I was Mia's age when we started the show. Actually, I was like 2 years younger than her. So for me, like my favorite memory, I mean, it was all just kind of growing up. Everything I did, every first experience I had as a kid, and then as a young teenager. Lee was the one who gave me the birds and the bees talk on set. Like, I mean, there was countless things that I grew up doing, and it was funny because it was the first show that I had really worked on. And at the time I just thought, I was like, wow, if this is TV, this is awesome, man. Like, this is the best way to work. I couldn't think of anything better. And then, you know, you go on to other shows or you go on to other movies or whatever you do, and you realize how special everything was and how unique of a situation we had, because kind of like Jason was saying, like, it's not just our cast, it was the crew and the writers and the directors that we had, because you'll go onto a set and, you know, it's very, kind of separate, where like the writers will all eat together, the cast eat in their own trailers, the crew kind of, you know, diversifies themselves. But for us, you would walk on to, you know, eat lunch on Thursday or Friday, and you'd see like our writers eating with the lighting crew, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is not normal. This is amazing though. And you go on and do other things, you realize that was so special. And that's, I think, what made our show so unique and so special.
I just wanted to give a shout out to a specific episode, Hawaii. Anyone?
Hawaii.
Cute story. You're gonna laugh.
All right.
Anyone? If anyone else wants to explain, feel free.
Good.
But I just felt like we need
The
to shout it
laughing
out.
and how we just laugh nonstop.
And we were just wired up on.
The hotel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
This
coffee
episode
truck.
where we were in Hawaii, and it was late, and we were all supposed to be piled into this bed together, and we just couldn't stop laughing. I mean, every single one of us, we were uncontrollable. It was very unprofessional.
Do you remember
And
they
we
wouldn't
loved
buy
it. Had a great
the
time.
coffee trucks anymore, because we had the coffee
exactly.
truck at like
Yeah.
8 o'clock, and then we all had these
Too much.
coffee drinks, frappuccinos.
Once it's like take
Monkey
20,
Buzz, what was it
and you're
called?
still,
the monkey
like,
buzz.
Monkey Buzz, yeah. It like bananas in it. And, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no sugar, none. No sugar in
Mm-mm.
those at all.
No. Mm-mm.
They learned their lesson after that experience. Mia, I mean, you were quite literally a baby when you started on the show. It's like, what do you remember from like filming the series. Do you remember anything? And yeah, how has your life changed since?
As like when it ended, I kind of remembered, like, as I got older, like from 4 to 5, those are the years that I kind of remembered. Like, I do remember once it was like the end, it was the last live show, like running out. I remember doing that. And there's like little snippets of everything that I kind of remember. But yeah, not that much. I was very young.
As she got older, it was harder to get her to do things we wanted her to do because she wanted to do what she wanted to do. Naturally, she's a kid. And I remember going up to her and saying, listen, you got one shot to say this line. And if you don't want it, I'll say it for you. And she was like, okay, I'll do it.
That's amazing. I mean, what have you guys had, like, any kind of memorable fan encounters over the years?
I mean, kind of the craziest situation that I've ever had happen in my life, still to this day, was Jason and I were at Disney World, and there was a Brazilian tour group.
I knew you were going to mention that's what I was going to say too, is the Brazilian tourists. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently Good Luck Charlie was huge in Brazil, to the point where I think everybody there knew who Jason and I were. So we were in line for a ride, and I guess there was a tour group of probably 200, 300 people, all 14-year-old girls. And one of them recognized, I think, like, I turned around to talk to Jason, and then one of them started screaming. The entire line of people starts screaming. We were all in line for a ride, and we get on the ride. The ride stalls. Jason and I thought we were getting away from this. The ride stalls for about 10 to 15 minutes, and we're just stopped on the ride in front of a line of Brazilian tour guides just screaming at us. And then our tour guides told us later that was the worst fan encounter they had ever seen at Disney World.
Bridget Mendler is responsible for my most insane fan encounter. Do you know what I'm going to say?
No, I don't remember.
I
She's
went
so
to
offended.
one of Bridget's concerts, and they set me.
Oh my God, yes.
It was the
yes,
amphitheater, and they set me in the middle center. And I kind of snuck in after everyone was seated. And then Bridget says, Mama Lee's here. And she points to me. And it was like, boom, everybody like turned. And they had to come out, Stefeffels had to come out and get me and like walk me through. And to this day, I'm always like, that was the one time where I kind of felt what it was like to be a Beatle. You know, where people were just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because Bridget's up on stage like, this isn't going to affect me. Look at her.
Ball's in your court now.
I do remember that.
What do you guys think each of your characters would be up to today? Do you guys even think about that? Does it cross your mind?
Yeah, I don't think any of us have ever thought of a reunion movie. So
we don't all have our own ideas of how that would shake
I
down.
always thought, like, if we did do one, like, where, like, I found, like, Bridget's video diaries, that's what I was always thinking.
Yeah.
If, like, that did happen, that's probably what they do.
A lot of fans have requested on my social media to do, like, instead of a Good Luck Charlie, a thank you Teddy.
Lee, do you remember Good Fortune Toby?
Good Fortune Toby!
That was my way of trying to get a girl. And I said it, like, at the end of it, I was like, Good Fortune Toby. And we were like, oh, there's the spinoff. Let's just keep it going.
That would be cool to go back through the videos, though, with Mia.
I found this one thing on YouTube. Someone made, like a whole thing of, like, all the videos that you did.
When I watch the show, because my kids watch it, it really is like a memory book because it just brings you back to that moment when you were filming it. And I don't even look at the episodes for what the episode was about. I look at it to know that, oh, in the haunted house, remember I was newly pregnant, my tummy was sticking out, and we were all piled into that bed, and like so sweet. Like the memories that just come rushing back. It was the best time ever. I love each and every one of these people.
I mean, did you guys take anything from set? Was there anything like cool memorabilia from the show?
I think I got the trump card here.
The chair.
Bridget's got the chair. There we go.
You know what I have? I have the zebra timeout chair that Mia would always have to go in when she was in timeout.
You know what my favorite one is do you remember the Duncan family bowling shirts?
Yeah, I've got
Oh yeah, I still got one.
I got mine folded up nice. It says Gabe on the front of
I've
it.
worn that today.
That's what we should have worn.
We should. Oh my God, that would have been great.
Yeah,
I don't even know what mine is.
Hysterical.
I was actually thinking about wearing that on Halloween and dressing up as Amy Duncan.
That's so funny. I mean, what do you want to tell your fans who have supported the show all these years? I feel like the show still has such life, especially the fact that it's streaming on Disney Plus right now, so people can kind of revisit and rewatch their favorite episodes. Just curious.
Thanks for being part of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you is the first thing that comes to mind. The fact that like you said, that it still has life and people are still watching it is all thanks to the people that watched it and liked it and still watch it. Like that's all them. You know what I mean?
When I connect with a fan, I always feel like the thing that makes it so special is that they love something that I love too. And so we have that in common because we both love it. And so there's actually a real bond with people, you know, as opposed to a lot of times celebrities or people that are recognizable think it's creepy to have a fan. To us, it's like they're part of the family because they share in the joy that we had for so many years.
I mean, thank you. You're loving a real family, you know, like you're connecting with something real. And we're really glad that you're connecting with that. And I mean, just to echo what Lee said, you know, we love it too. So it feels like something we share.
We never really knew that the show was popular at the time. Like when we were filming it, we would just show up to set every day and we worked and we didn't really think anything of it. And then, you know, towards the end of season 1, season 2, season 3, the thing that told us that the show was popular was, you know, going outside and having people freak out when they saw you. It was never like, Disney never gave us like the concrete
They never
numbers.
told us.
It really told you like, hey, you guys are,
Yeah.
just so you know, the #1 show on TV right now. We would
In
just
the
like
world.
walk outside and be like, what's going on here?
And we
'Cause
also
we would just
worked
have so
in
much
a
fun going to
giant
work.
box.
Yes. It's like
Yeah.
your own little ecosystem of a
A little
warehouse.
depressing.
I literally did an episode of Will and Grace in this reboot season, and one of the executives over at NBC, Phil Bremen, he really kind of championed and created this show. His daughter's name is Charlie, right? So
Yeah.
Phil Bremen comes up to me and he goes, gosh, can you believe how popular that show still is? It's crazy to think that that was the #1 show in the world at the time. And I was like, what? No one told me that.
Like,
Yeah, no, nobody ever
I
told
didn't
us
know
that.
either.
Yeah.
That's a nice fun fact.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I guess the time is up. It kind of went by really quickly, but like before we wrap up, yeah, is there, you know, if you guys kind of mentioned, you guys always talk about like a reunion movie or kind of getting back together for something down the line.
I'd love to get the band back together.
We'd love to.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
We'd
absolutely.
love to.
I don't even think if you asked anybody who works on the crew, they would say no to that. I think everybody
Our
would
crew
feel to go
and
back.
our cast is so in love with each other, honestly, that it wouldn't even be a question. We even had some people retire and they were like, you know what? We want to go out on a high note and we wouldn't come back unless this came back.
Yeah, and I started a different Disney show literally like 2 days after we finished Good Luck Charlie, and we took about like 3/4 of the crew with us, and that was like the only way I could get through like the heartbreak of finishing Good Luck Charlie was the fact that I had like 100 crew members that I would show up to work every day and go, huh, you people I know.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This was really fun and cool to see everybody kind of back together again. And hopefully, yeah, down the line, there is something, you know, comes to fruition. You never know, right? In this era of like reunions and sequel things and all that. You just never know.
Maybe for our 20 year, you know?
Bye.
Bye guys, see you, love you, love you. Let's do
Also,
our
bye,
reunion
everybody.
again soon.
Good luck, Charlie.